most people out there have been sold a massive lie about what intelligence actually is. They think being smart means having a 3-digit IQ, hanging a fancy master's degree above the toilet, or being able to smoothly regurgitate Elon Musk quotes on some tech bro podcast. Hell, a lot of people think they're absolute geniuses just because they know how to put on glasses, nod thoughtfully, and look incredibly profound during pointless corporate meetings. But hold up, let's lock that cliché garbage away. If you bother to look at the actual data, view it through the lens of behavioral economics, and see how truly exceptional minds operate in this chaotic world, the brutal truth is entirely different. Neuroscience points to a massive paradox. Absolute intelligence is not measured by the shiny crap you do, it is defined by the stupid things you flat out refuses to do. That's right, the difference between a razor-sharp mind and an empty barrel rolling down a hill lies in the instinct to brutally say no to psychological traps. Today, we're stripping down the 5 dumbest things that truly smart people wouldn't be caught dead doing. Fair warning, this might sting a bit and step on your ego. Especially number 5, a gold-plated trap that 99% of us happily jump into every single day, working ourselves to the bone for it, and then proudly posting a picture of it on Instagram. Buckle up, because we're about to tear down some of your favorite little lies. Blind spot number 1, they ever BS their way through things they are clueless about. You definitely know a guy like Bob. Bob is the dude at every weekend backyard BBQ, holding a beer, chewing on a hot dog, and loudly lecturing everyone on macroeconomic monetary policy, or ballistic missile tech, even though he just watched a 45-second TikTok about it while sitting on the toilet this morning. Why do Bob and about 90% of humanity love doing this? Because in a society obsessed with fake perfection, uttering the 3 words, "I don't know," is treated like intellectual treason, a fatal weakness. People have been brainwashed by the most toxic startup slogan ever created, "Fake it till you make it." They would rather invent a bunch of word salad, tossing in industry jargon to cover up the massive potholes in their brains, than just admit they don't know shit. But truly smart people, their egos aren't made of fragile glass. They will look you dead in the eye, shrug, and say, "I have never heard of this damn concept in my life. Explain it to me," smoothly, and without a drop of sweat. They know exactly where the borders of their knowledge end. Psychologists dress it up with a fancy term, epistemic humility, but in bar talk, they are just too lazy to put on a play. Holding up a know-it-all mask burns an insane amount of calories and cognitive bandwidth. Smart people would rather put their ego in a drawer and save that energy to actually learn something new, rather than fry their brains just to protect a phantom sense of pride. Blind spot number 2, they never throw any out the window on pointless arguments. Let's be real with each other. How many times you wasted a perfectly good Saturday night violently typing on your keyboard, crafting 800-word essays with perfect punctuation, just to get into a shouting match with a faceless cat avatar on social media? You try to prove to a total stranger that their political views or taste in music is pure garbage. You think you're defending the justice of the universe. No, my friend. Evolutionary psychology calls that a severely misplaced need for ego validation. Smart people treat their energy, attention, and time like a blank check with a strict limit, and they are incredibly, relentlessly cheap about signing that check. They look at an online argument and run a split-second cost-benefit analysis. The cost to shove facts into this stubborn guy's head is 3 hours of extreme stress, plus a toxic cocktail of cortisol. The reward? A shy apology. Yeah, that's never going to happen. So, screw it. They absolutely do not try to wake up people who are pretending to be asleep. They understand the hard line between a discussion and a screaming match. If they smell a pointless ego battle brewing, they just snap their fingers, turn around, and would rather spend that time scrubbing the toilet or binge watching a mindless show. Winning an argument against an idiot is the cheapest prize in the world, and smart people aren't in the business of collecting junk. Blind spot number 3, they let their emotions take the steering wheel. Don't confuse this with being emotionless or call them cold-blooded narcissists. Smart people aren't robots running on code. They feel pain, they get furious, they get hyped up just like the rest of us. They understand you and understand the rhythm of their emotions perfectly. But, and this is a massive BT, they never, ever hand the car keys over to their feelings. Think back, when did you make the absolute worst, most short-sighted, most deeply embarrassing decision of your life? Was it when your blood was boiling with rage? Or when you were floating on the high of extreme excitement? Neuroscience calls this an amygdala hijack. When you're heavily triggered, your brain's fire alarm goes off and immediately kicks the prefrontal cortex, the calm, rational CEO of your brain, right out of the executive chair. Your brain in that moment is exactly like a blackout drunk guy holding an unlimited credit card. He's going to swipe hard for disaster decisions that sober you will have to cry over and pay off tomorrow morning. Sending that scorching email to your boss at 2 a.m. Texting your toxic ex begging for them back when you're lonely. Buying a get-rich-quick crypto course while riding a hype wave. Smart people see right through this cheap script. Their survival weapon is creating a friction buffer between EOMTON and a CTIO. So what do they do when the madness hits their brain? They power down. They go to sleep. They put their anger in the freezer to cool off for 24 hours. They coldly ask themselves, 6 months from now, am I going to want to slap myself in the face for doing this? They use emotions as a pressure gauge, never as the blueprint to build their lives. Blind spot number 4. They ever build a zoo full of yes men. The primal human instinct is to crave safety and validation. We tend to flock together with people who think exactly like us, who nod aggressively at everything we say, and who give a standing ovation to even the dumbest ideas we spit out. It's so warm. It's so safe. It inflates our ego to the damn moon. And folks, it is also the exact acid that eats away at our sharpness every single second. Living in an echo chamber of yes men is the sweetest poison on earth. Truly smart people are terrified of that deadly comfort. They understand a core truth: evolution never sprouts in barren soil made of fake, pleasant compliments. Instead, they crave friction. They strategically, deliberately pack their inner circle with thorny people, people who are kapilai and wulailamanji to challenge them. They need a friend who will look them dead in the eye and drop the truth. Hey man, that shirt makes you look like a rotting tomato. Or this business strategy has more holes than Swiss cheese. It's going to burn all your cash. Scrap it. Why do they have this masochistic hobby? Because they treat their ideas the exact same way a mechanical engineer treats a newly assembled car. They want the mechanic to take a hammer and smash every corner, finding the cracks before they drive that car off a cliff themselves. Getting proven wrong doesn't make them throw a tantrum. It gives them a rush, because it means they just patched a fatal blind spot and upgraded themselves into a vastly superior, harder to kill version of themselves. Blind spot number 5. The ultimate death trap. They envy or confuse being busy as hell with actually getting things done. Welcome to the most toxic and popular religion of the 21st century, hustle culture. Welcome to this pathetic era where crippling exhaustion is minted into a badge of honor, and chronic sleep deprivation is a symbol of dedication. People meet up at coffee shops and compete to see who has the biggest bags under their eyes. Oh, I pulled an 80-hour week. I ate a sandwich while running a deadline. I'm about to get hospitalized for an IV drip. They puff out their chests with pride over it. They feel important and useful to society. If you are busting your ass digging a hole with a soup spoon, digging with extreme enthusiasm, sweating blood and tears from 6 a.m. to midnight, it doesn't mean you are working effectively. The masses are blindly obsessed with efficiency, figuring out how to check off 50 microscopic bullet points on a to-do list, or how to reply to 200 trash emails as fast as humanly possible. This warped concept turns them into hamsters, running for their lives on an endless wheel, sprinting until they pass out, but actually just standing completely still. Let me fish out from the perspective of a ruthless economist. That shallow business, it is the greatest scam ever pulled by your dopamine system. Smart people are obsessed with the ACTULEFFTIVS of TGUAL, meaning, before they dive headfirst into the work, they take a step back, take a sip of coffee, and ask, is this damn thing even worth doing in the first place? They apply reverse behavioral economics. They ruthlessly slaughter distractions without mercy. They might only work 20 hours a week, but those are 20 hours, aimed with the precision of a veteran sniper. Dead silent, not a single wasted bullet, and pulling the trigger only when they are guaranteed to drop the target. And most importantly, they anger suffer from the fear of silence, having hours of free time, slouching on the sofa staring at the ceiling, sipping morning coffee without burying their face in a phone screen. In the eyes of the shallow, busy crowd, that's the cardinal sin of laziness. But hard science proves it. That empty, seemingly useless space is the brain's radiator cooling down. Smart people have no desire to show off cheap business, they build bunkers to protect their cognitive bandwidth, like they are protecting their own lives. You see, true intelligence isn't loud and obnoxious, it is dead quiet, composed, and brutally pragmatic. It doesn't throw a tantrum begging the world to turn around and give it a round of applause. Intellect shows up in the armor-plated boundaries you dare to set, and the superficial, meaningless garbage you are ruthless enough to throw right out of your life's orbit. So, now that you've been stripped naked by these 5 brutal, thorny truths, take 30 seconds to look at yourself in the mirror. Which trap are you voluntarily offering yourself up to? Tearing up trying to win an argument against a fake avatar online, or shooting yourself up with the anesthetic of meaningless, spinning business? Throw your massive ego aside, be honest about your blind spots, and drop your confession in the comments below. Admitting you're doing stupid things is the actual starting line for your intelligence to finally rev its engine.